No one at Jefferson Ridge Academy noticed Marcus Hill. That was the strange thing. He walked the same halls as everyone else, sat in the same classrooms, wore the same uniform blazer. Yet somehow, Marcus existed like a shadow, present but unseen. He was 17, tall, quiet, and always tired. What no one knew was that Marcus hadn't slept in a real bed for almost 6 months. After his mother died from an untreated illness and the rent piled up, Marcus lost everything. Their small apartment, their furniture, their sense of normalcy. What he didn't lose was his determination. Every night, after school, Marcus slept wherever he could, bus stations, abandoned buildings, sometimes behind the public library where the security guard pretended not to see him. And every morning, he showed up to school on time. Because Marcus Hill had one goal: graduate at the top of his class and escape poverty for good. Finals week was supposed to be Marcus's victory lap. He had straight A's. Perfect attendance. Teachers often used his essays as examples, though they never really knew him beyond his work. That morning, Marcus arrived early, clutching his worn backpack tightly. Inside was everything he owned: notebooks, a spare shirt, and his mother's old phone that no longer had service. The final exam for advanced calculus started at exactly 9 a.m. If you were late, you failed. No exceptions. Marcus checked the time. 8:32 a.m. Plenty of time. That's when he heard the sound. A sharp screech of tires followed by a sickening thud. Gasps rippled through the street outside the school gates. Marcus turned just in time to see a sleek black luxury car swerving to a stop, and a boy his age sprawled on the pavement, blood trickling from his forehead. Students froze. Some screamed. Others pulled out their phones. But no one moved. No one, except Marcus. Marcus dropped his bag and ran. The boy was unconscious, breathing shallowly. His expensive jacket was torn. His watch lay shattered on the road. "Call 911. Marcus shouted. No one responded. Marcus knelt down, pressing his hoodie against the boy's head to stop the bleeding. He remembered what his mom had taught him: how to keep someone awake, how to check breathing. Sirens wailed in the distance, but they felt impossibly far away. "Stay with me," Marcus whispered. "You're gonna be okay." The ambulance finally arrived. Paramedics lifted the boy onto a stretcher. "Who helped him?" one asked. Marcus raised his hand. "You coming with us?" the paramedic asked. Marcus glanced at the school clock. 8:55 a.m. If he left now, he'd miss his final. Marcus hesitated. Then he climbed into the ambulance. By the time Marcus returned to school, it was 10:12 a.m. The classroom door was closed. He stood there, heart pounding, and knocked. The proctor opened the door slightly, eyes cold. "You're late," she said flatly. I was helping someone who got hit by a car," Marcus explained, breathless. She sighed. "Rules are rules. You miss the exam, you fail." Marcus felt the floor drop out beneath him. Failing meant losing his scholarship prospects. Failing meant repeating the year. Failing meant staying homeless. He tried to speak, but the words wouldn't come. The door closed. Just like that. By lunch, the story had spread, but twisted. "Did you hear he skipped finals?" Probably didn't care. Figures. Marcus sat alone in the cafeteria, untouched tray in front of him. His hands shook as he stared at the table. All his work. All his sacrifice. Gone. That was when a teacher approached him. "Marcus," she said softly, "the principal wants to see you." Principal Richard Bennett was known for two things: discipline and zero tolerance. His office smelled like polished wood and authority. Marcus stood nervously as the principal reviewed his file. "Top student," Bennett said without looking up. "Yet you missed the most important exam of the year." "I was helping someone," Marcus said quietly. Bennett finally looked up and froze. For just a moment. Then his expression hardened again. "Do you know who that student was?" Bennett asked. Marcus shook his head. "That was my son." The words landed like a punch. Marcus's throat tightened. Bennett continued, voice unreadable. "Ethan was driving himself to school. He shouldn't have been. Doctors say if you hadn't stopped the bleeding, he could have died." Silence filled the room. Marcus waited for punishment. For dismissal. For blame. Instead, Bennett leaned back, his voice suddenly heavy. You missed your final because you saved my child. Bennett stood and walked to the window. Marcus, he said slowly, why didn't you just leave him? Marcus swallowed. Because someone needed help. Bennett turned around. And why didn't you argue harder when they failed you? Marcus looked down. I'm used to rules not bending for people like me. The room went quiet. That was the moment Bennett truly saw him. Not as a student, but as a young man carrying more weight than anyone should. Later that day, Bennett called an emergency faculty meeting. Marcus was allowed to retake his final, under supervision. But that wasn't all. During the meeting, one teacher spoke up. Marcus has never once asked for help, she said. Did you know he doesn't have a permanent address? That stopped the room cold. The truth unraveled quickly. The homelessness. The nights outside. The perfect grades despite everything. The school board intervened. Marcus not only retook the exam, he passed with the highest score in the district. Principal Bennett personally arranged housing for Marcus through a private foundation. But the biggest shock came at graduation. As Marcus walked across the stage, the principal stepped forward. This student, Bennett announced to the crowd, taught us that character matters more than rules. The audience rose to their feet. A standing ovation. Ethan, now healed, watched with tears in his eyes. Later that evening, Bennett handed Marcus an envelope. Inside was a full scholarship. And a handwritten note. You didn't just save my son. You reminded me what leadership really means. Years later, Marcus Hill would become an emergency room physician. When asked why he chose that path, he always smiled and said, because one day, helping someone cost me everything. And gave me more than I could have imagined. If you love stories like this video, subscribe and tell me the city you are watching from.